I don't know if this stems from a desperate need to be seen, to be heard, to be remembered by others, that even a moment of attention is worth selling myself out for.
Why we?
Which is why I'm constantly playing out this part that others expect of me. Like the sociable one who gets along with everyone, or the talkative one who's a riot at a party, or the little girl who needs help because she knows nothing, or the one who needs no help at all because she's got everything handled, so do not bother offering. Or the kind, silent listener who will spend every waking moment helping you with all of your life's problems. So feel free to hit her up, even at 3 a.m., because clearly her whole life is centered around you and your happiness, or whatever the fuck else people use me for. Every interaction I have ever had with anyone is to fulfill the ridiculous role that they expect me to play, to satisfy their own needs or beliefs, because they never bothered or needed to know who I am. And I played out these parts because it's the only way I would even be acknowledged as existing. By spending the whole day laughing and smiling with others and acting according to the image that they've crafted of me in their heads and the consequent expectations they have of me, and then going home every night to cry myself to sleep. And I just never fucking learn. Every single time ahead of every social interaction, I get excited and expect things to be different, expect to have genuine connections with people by listening to them and have them listen to me, and every time I get back home feeling rejected and just tired. Because it is exhausting to play out every word, every action, every reaction, and to an extent, every thought as someone else. To constantly gauge what others think of me, what they're expecting from me, how they want me to behave, and act accordingly. And to cover up with a joke or an excuse when my genuineness leaks out and rubs them the wrong way. And it's so funny because it's these people who constantly use me and think they know me who freak out when I'm being genuine. Even if I'm just being quiet, they can't fucking stand it because it's against their belief of who I am as a person or conflicts with their use of me. Because if I react genuinely, then something's wrong with me because I'm not acting how they expect me to or want me to in a way that benefits them. So what do you want me to do then, you fuckwit? Are you not entertained? Should I do a couple of handstands and cartwheels to make you happy? To get you in the mood so you can selfishly monologue to me for hours on end about all of your life's problems and practice your fucked up so-called jokes and seem intellectual by spouting hot takes that you stole from the internet on random bullshit? And then make it my responsibility to help you deal with your problems or give you the feedback of laughter or praise or whatever the fuck to make you feel good? Because me being quiet or indifferent or, God forbid, honest makes it so uncomfortable for you? Surely I must be sick or unwell or emotional or sensitive or just plain fucking weird if I refuse to do so much emotional labor for you. Not that it matters, you've literally never once asked me how I am or bothered to hear my answer to it, at least for courtesy's sake. Can you tell that I'm bitter? Is it obvious? So, yeah, I have grown to repress all sense of me, and I don't even think about it anymore. I think it's become like second nature. Which is why I truly hate being around people. Yes, I enjoy the few seconds of attention and praise and laughter that I've created, but at what cost? feeling empty and shallow and fake, feeling like a people pleaser who will do anything or say anything just to be seen, and just constantly living to fulfill the whims and fancies of others and selling myself out just to feel wanted or like I belong. And then realize that no matter how hard I try to play out these parts, I will still only be an afterthought, a distraction for the passing moment, or at best, a momentary annoyance to put up with, a temporary placeholder till what or who they really want comes along. Because I've had friends before, or rather people that I thought of as friends, but in the loosest meaning of the word. People that I haven't had to try as hard with. People that I could be genuine with. People who I thought were on the same wavelength as me. Yeah, I hate that phrase. It's so pretentious. And these friends were so different from the attachments I usually formed of people merely using me and leeching off of me, but still constantly forgetting me and never having my back, and me being okay with it because I assumed it was normal and that's what it meant to have friends, or simply because I had no one else. And yeah, these people that I thought were similar to me and understood me, people that I could understand so well and even relate to, people who I assumed to be my friends and close to me in a genuine way of companionship, and wrong again. Because even these friends never thought of me as a friend. They were just being friendly to me in the moment. I was never an actual friend or priority, or there was never anything more to it than the few instances of what I believed was friendship. And they've passed along quite quickly, just like everybody else. And I don't know if that hurts more because it reinforces my already existing belief of being unwanted, or if it's because I truly believed we were friends, and as it turns out, we were not. Which I suppose taught me the very important lesson of not expecting anything from other people, even things that I may consider common courtesy or just decency. Because nobody owes you shit, so shut up. But way more importantly, do not glorify people or put them on a pedestal just because they seem halfway fucking decent. Because the stench of desperation, my friend, always attracts the wrong kind of beasts who are very good at mimicking decency. Astonishingly similar to the Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. I mean, it's practically a biopic at this point. And like everything else, I had to learn that the hard way. And by the hard way, I mean by going through some deep fucking shit that left me with some really painful emotional scars and wounds that I am still healing from. Or, reeling from. Nostalgia. Such fun times. So anyway, I have come to the conclusion that loneliness is other people. Because I like being alone. I love being alone. And I never feel lonely when I'm alone. It's only around other people that I feel this obvious sense of isolation or exclusion. Like I'm an outsider or I'm an alien. Like there's something wrong with me or I'm out of place and shouldn't be there. And I've realized that I don't really like spending time with anyone else. Not only because of this feeling of loneliness when I'm around them, but also because I don't like spending time with anyone else more than I like being with myself. And I don't know if this is because I genuinely like hanging out with myself, or it rose from the consequence of my interactions with other people being so traumatic that I had to like myself out of necessity and lack of alternatives. lack of alternatives, of course, meaning having literally no one else to talk to. But yeah. Either way, despite my very obvious flaws and daily fuckery and bitchiness and inability to listen to myself and generally being lazy and uncooperative and annoying as fuck sometimes, I like being my own best friend. Because hanging out with myself doesn't make me cry into the pillow every night before going to sleep, because it requires so much energy and performance on my part, and later analysis and understanding of how two-faced and backhanded the interaction was. And I don't play the hot or cold game with me. I don't pretend like I'm my friend one day and then use me and take advantage of me because I'm bored, and then leave me floundering the next day like we were never friends to begin with. And I don't pretend like I'm my friend and look the other way when I'm in trouble and ghost me when I clearly know that I need help and something is bothering me. I don't pretend like I'm my friend and tell me to my face that I am not my first priority or I simply do not care about me. I do not pretend like I am my friend and make myself feel like trash. Don't know if that was super confusing, but basically, even apart from all of these reasons, I am my own best friend simply because, as flawed and fucked up as I am, I still try to be kind and accepting and compassionate to myself and others as well, I suppose. Also, I'm super fucking funny when I'm alone. I mean, in my opinion. Once again, I don't know if these are just excuses for why I spend so much time alone. I don't know if I'm just lying to myself and saying that these are all the reasons why I like being alone, or if I'm just trying to reframe the scene. Like, my solitude is by my choice and not because I'm being ostracized by everyone else. Regardless, I am alone. And despite these questions, I'm okay with that. Not only because being in the wrong company is just fucking terrible and downright miserable, but also because, I think I'm pretty cool. But obviously, I'm not trying to glorify being completely alone and depending on absolutely no one or talking to absolutely no one or just existing as an island, because apparently that's super bad for your mental health. And I understand that being self-reliant, self-sufficient and happy being on your own is completely different from the inability to socialize and genuinely connect to fellow man. It just so happens in my case that the inability or unwillingness to socialize is a consequence of my internalized trauma and pent up aggression from socializing and supposed friendships where I was always the last choice, and from being fucked over numerous times, and just general interactions with the general public. And yeah. Or maybe I wasn't socialized properly as a kid either, so now I don't know how to deal with people, or I don't know. I mean, that's not to say I have no friends now. I do, and they're great. I mean, they're good, decent people, and I mean, they're alright. I just don't think I rely on them or reach out to them how friends usually do, and I don't know if that now makes me a bad friend. Anyway, I guess all this has just been a very roundabout way of explaining why I'm screaming into the void. Ultimately, it's because I like the sound of my own voice, and I haven't been allowed to speak for a very, very long time. So now I'm just gonna sit here in my cavernous little hole and do what I like doing best. Just speak. And yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call this wise or intelligent or smart or synonyms. It's not like the internet is known for its compassion and understanding. And if I'm finding it traumatic to deal with people face to face in reality, I don't know how it's gonna get any better when it's virtual. I think the only way I can rationalize it is at least I get to speak. For the first time, I can actually find my own voice, hear my own voice without being interrupted or ignored or even punished, regardless of who's listening or who's not. Which does, however, bring us to the age old question of if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? I guess we'll never know. Okay, bye.